Hey there, Postal here. Today we've got, well, there's a big event going on this weekend. Call to Arms in World of Warplanes. Let's take a quick look at some details of it. So, from the 15th through the 18th, it's all about the American heavy fighters, which is pretty damn cool in my opinion. And what I like about World of Warplanes over World of Warships or World of Tanks is you get pretty steep discounts. So let's just start right at the beginning here. Not only do you get the discounts that I'm about to go over, but you were also getting 3 times for the weekend, so I mean that's standard kind of stuff, but still good to know. 50% off all consumables using both gold and credits, so if you're the type of person that buys a bunch of consumables ahead of time, because you know you're going to use them anyway, now's the weekend to buy them. There's 30% off of the XP58 Chain Lightning, which we'll get back to that in just a moment. That's a Tier 8 American Heavy Fighter. Talking about it for gold in the game client, so you know here in World of Warplanes you'd be able to get this plane for 30% off its gold value. Then there's 50% off from Tier 2 up to Tier 7. Tier 2 is obviously going to be not a heavy because there's just no Tier 2 heavies in the game, but it's going to be this little guy. Yeah, look at it, so cute. P-23. From here you go to the Hawk 75M, the Curtiss P-36, and the Curtiss P-40 Warhawk. Did I buy back the Warhawk? Yes, I did. I actually liked this plane. It's kind of wonkadoo, but it's a fun plane. I got it back because the history. P-40, obviously a pretty iconic plane. But once you get past the P-40, you're going to be going to the P-38F. Really solid Tier 5 American heavy plane. P-38J at Tier 6. One of the best heavy planes in the game. I posted a video a while ago now on the standard tech tree heavies at Tier 6. And compared them, and yeah, they all compare very favorably to each other. But you can see some details on this plane in that video. I should probably put a link in the description or something, shouldn't I? Tier 7, there's the F7F, which I didn't mind when I first grinded down this line. It was quite, it wasn't like my favorite plane, but it wasn't terrible. I bought it back and I actually hate it. I need to change my mentality on it. I think I didn't mind it when I first played it because I didn't know what I was doing, and I set it up kind of wrong, with quotes around it wrong. I tried to set it up how you would typically set up most heavy fighters, and it doesn't work well with this plane. So I'm going to try to set it up quote unquote wrong and kind of fiddle around with it and go from there. But it's I've seen it be done very well. It's very maneuverable, Tier 7 heavy fighter. Maybe I need to play it more like a multi-role. We'll see. It does definitely have a lot of ground armament going for it. Tier 8, you've got the XF5U, the pancake, the flapjack, whatever you want to call it. I don't have my squirrel paint on it, but even after the nerf, and it did get nerfed pretty badly, this is still a really fun plane. It's no longer head and shoulders above every other Tier 8 heavy plane in the game. But it's still a solid plane, and it's fun, and it's different. Tier 9 is probably the best Tier 9 heavy in the game, I would say. Trying to think. Yes, it's definitely the best Tier 9 heavy in the game. Thinking about the other Tier 9 heavies. And just one of my favorite planes in the game in general, the F2H. Just an absolute blast. Really, really strong cannons up front here. You've got the air-to-ground rockets. I wouldn't mind keeping the bombs on it, but I've specialized it, so rockets it is. But this plane honestly is a rocket itself. The airspeed's pretty darn good. Altitude performance is pretty solid. It's actually relatively maneuverable for a heavy fighter. Not that you'll be dogfighting in it. And the guns are just, they're just solid. It's a solid all-around heavy fighter. But then this line ends on the XF90. Now this literally is a rocket. You have 6 of the 20 mil cannons. You've got bombs on it, which most people don't have. Got them on it for some reason. Probably going to try it out or something with it. But anyway, this is like the meta tier 10 heavy fighter. It's the one that you see all the all the beatdown artists flying around. Why? Because the airspeed is ridiculous. And granted, I don't have mine specialized at all. I don't have a pilot in it right now at all. But the airspeed's already at 98 out of 100. You can get this plane up to, I don't know, 121 out of 100, so that tells you how fast the speed can be on it. And what's really cool about the discounts they've got going on is the tier 8, 9, and 10 that we just talked about, the Pancake, Banshee, and XF90 right here are all 30% off. So, being able to get these discounts at 30% instead of what's in World of Warships and World of Tanks where it'd only be 15% is significant. 30% of 6.2 million is it's 2 million credits you can save on this plane alone, much less going down the line. And this really honestly truly is a great heavy line. The tier 1 through 5 is what it is kind of thing, but once you actually get to the heavy fighters, these are just very, very solid performers. The F7F is probably the dog of the line. So this is kind of one of those lines that starts really strong, mediocre, but on the high end of mediocre, and then just absolutely outstanding, right? So, yeah, you got to kind of grind through tier 7 and a little bit through tier 8, but overall you get some really, really solid performing planes. And the F7F and the XF5U are still a lot of fun, even if they're not dominant, if that makes sense. So I'm going to highly recommend everybody go down this line. Some of the other missions that are available, so if you're in these planes that we just talked about, if you earn 7,500 personal points in a single battle, you get an additional 50% battle experience. That's absolutely crazy. So not only are you getting all these discounts, but you can literally get there twice as quick if you're at least getting above 7,500 personal points. I know 7,500 is not necessarily feasible on every single game, but even if you're just getting above 7,500 on half of your battles, then anything's helping, and you can maybe not grind out this whole line in a weekend, which would be pretty crazy to go from tier 2 to tier 10, but you can easily get to the next tier, if not a couple tiers. If you're down low here, if you're down at tier 5 through 7, you can easily jump 2 tiers and get yourself to, if you're at tier 5, get yourself to tier 7. If you're at your tier 6, you can definitely get to tier 8. If you're at tier 7, it might be a stretch to get to the Banshee, but man, it'll be worth it. If you can push yourself to do it, I'd highly recommend doing that. It's repeatable, this mission. It doesn't expire, so push yourself to it. If you also have the ability to get these long gun barrels, period 2 and period 3. So destroy 200 aerial targets in any number of battles in any of the planes that we've just discussed, and just the regular aircraft. You'll get the period 2 barrels, which is tier 5, 6, and 7. If you destroy 50 enemy attack aircraft and bombers in any number of battles, you'll get the period 3, which is the 8, 9, and 10. And last but not least, destroy 3 enemy heavy fighters in a single battle. Every time you do that, your credits will be 25%. You'll get a 25% bonus. So conceivably, you could now you got the ability to really grind through this line pretty easily. I don't want to put the quotes around easily, but 25% increased credits if you can kill 3 heavies, 50% battle experience if you can be above 7,500 personal points, and then there's the significant discounts on the purchases themselves. Now, there's no better time than right now to go down the American Heavy Fighter line. Last but not least, I want to talk about this XP58, the Chain Lightning. So, one of the biggest questions people get to me is asking, what's the best tier 8 premium plane to get? Personally, your money is your money. If you're going to spend actual money on a game, I'm not going to tell you, what to do with your money. You've earned it. You can do with it as you choose. There's not a lot of planes I would recommend in this game, just because you can earn silver pretty easily in this game. It's a lot more economically viable in this game than World of Warships or World of Tanks, especially World of Tanks. You know, you could battle 50 times in a day and, you know, not make 1,000,000 credits in World of Tanks. You can easily do that in this game, in World of Warplanes, and, you know, not have to have a premium account or anything. So that being said, if you want to spend gold, or in this instance because the discount's on the gold price only, honestly there's not much better at playing at tier 8 as far as just ease of use is concerned. So yes, this is a heavy plane, but you'll notice there's no bombs or rockets on it. So it's completely focused on its gun output, and it's 4 very, very strong guns, 37 mil cannons. They do 800. I don't even have this really boosted, do I? No, I don't even have like the gas operated action on it. So just base, they're going to be doing 800 cumulative damage. They're kind of short range, but they hit like a freaking Mack truck, and you just tear things up. When they hit, it melts. Bombers and ground attack planes do not stand a chance. Most heavies don't stand a chance because it's a relatively maneuverable heavy plane, believe it or not. 13.7 seconds isn't terrible. It's on the better end of maneuverability, so you can stick behind heavies. You've got a lot of airspeed. I've built my airspeed up on this one, to be honest, but it's easy enough to build airspeed up on this one. And sneaky, unlike any other American plane, it actually has a rear gunner with some pretty good guns on it. They're 2 on the bottom, 2 on the top, 50 cal machine guns. But they go out pretty far, a lot farther than any other 50 cal machine guns on the American lines, 2,500 feet, and they do some good damage. I'm sure you've been stuck behind an XP-58 before and wished you weren't. It's not like you're behind a ground attack plane or a crazy bomber, but it's pretty nice, and it's just something else that this plane does well. So basically what I'm saying, if you want to spend gold on a plane, there's a lot worse planes you could do it on. This one's just, it's easy to use. Like, it's especially if you're a heavy, an American heavy fighter pilot, this is a great plane. It'll fit right in with the motif of this line, and it's just a great tier 8 heavy plane. It's definitely one of the better tier 8 planes in the game, much less one of the best tier 8 heavy planes in the game. So yeah, so it's, if you're gonna spend gold, now might be the time to do it with that 30% discount. Let's go ahead and hop into a XP-58 battle, just a standard kind of thing. Let's do it. Okay, let's see what we got going on here. Okay, well, we need to get to the center, don't we? What in the world was I doing with this setup? Man, I totally should have looked at the setup beforehand. What is this? Whoa! Frickin' premium. God, flippin' G's. Flippin' G's, Postal. Alright, so what I typically do in most of my heavies is go up to kind of the threshold on the altitude, the highest that I can in the yellow for altitude. And that way, if I need to dive down, you know, I'm pretty high up and I can dive down. If I need to go up, I'm not too crazy. And that way it's not a big deal. Let's get a turn around here, put some heavy hits onto that heavy defense aircraft, and put a lot more right there. Alright, so we got an RB-17, which this plane just eats for freaking dinner, lunch, breakfast, snack, brunch, all those happy-go-lucky meals. But we've got another frickin' bomber, so let's get some good hits into him. What? I did not get good hits into him, but we're working well with our 262 friend over here. I'm weakening him and weakening them, and they're knocking him out. So unfortunately, we've got an engine knocked out, but I don't think we've got anybody really close to us. An F-84B, because of course it's a Tier 9 battle, which happens from time to time. But I'm not really worried about it. A J7W1 could be a pain in the butt, but unfortunately for him, I've got more hit points and harder hitting guns. Well, actually I think our guns hit the same, now that I think about it. But, you know, XF58 DGAF, so head on me and learn your lesson. F-84B is another human. That is a really good multi-role plane in my humble opinion, but I think he's a little bit higher than he wants to be in my humble opinion. And he may or may not have learned a lesson there. So let's see if we can defend our bombers so we can get this mining facility here. There's a 262, which you don't necessarily eat for lunch, but you can see definitely hits them hard. This plane just, oof. So as long as you don't try to do what the plane can't do, and I guess you could say that about a lot of things, right? This plane will reward you. And what I mean by that is don't dogfight. Don't be that guy. Go around, kill the things that heavy fighters do well at, and because this just does extremely well versus all the things a heavy fighter does well at. And that's taking out bombers, taking out GAs, taking out the high health pool targets, taking out the things that can't wiggle too much. Because you take like glancing shots versus versus light fighters and multi-rolls, because you can do that, but just keep going on. You're not gonna, you basically have a shotgun on the front of this, so don't try to assume that you're gonna hit wiggly targets. Ugh. Oh, yeah, I can't outspeed him. But there you can see what the tail gunner can do, and it can definitely scare people, right? So we've pulled away far enough away from this guy that we could turn around. Got to look out for that P-51H. P-51H can stick with us, but again, your rear gunner is going to be able to do a lot. 128 damage per second with the rear gunner. You know, this is just kind of, again, this is basic heavy tactics. Although you can't do this with you know, with as much success with the standard Americans, just because they don't have the rear gunner. See, I thought I would have to go to the rear gunner there, but the guns, I mean, 37 mil cannons, just freaking boom, right? I probably could have gone head on to that heavy. Kind of glad I didn't. So, yeah. Oh man, I forgot how, I haven't played this plane in a while, and I forgot how much fun it is. It's just fun. Like, it's not overly difficult. Oop, I'm gonna die here. Maybe not. Oh, hitting the wrong button. Maybe if I wasn't hitting the wrong button. Oh man, and see, I set that guy on fire. Up and over. I'm doing something you probably really shouldn't do. Oops, wrong button. Trying to angle down. No. Whew. Got saved by that J21, but I'll take it. Man, this game's kind of being all wonkadoo, isn't it? Um, 43 hit points. Yeah, I can't outspeed this guy. And there's game. I mean, that was just like standard kind of stuff, right? Honestly, it was just standard kind of stuff. Let's head back. I mean, so 10 frags, only 6,000 damage. How long was that battle? Does even say 5 minutes, 6 minutes, right? Did 6 minutes of damage. 15 critical hit damages, shots. You know, just you tend to tear things up with 37 mil cannons. Knocked out engines, knocked out wings, knocked out gunners, started fires, killed pilots. 300 capture points, 10 destroyed, only a couple aircraft and attack aircraft and bombers. So this obviously wasn't, top of the line kind of gameplay, but I didn't want to do a top of the line gameplay, to be honest. This is a standard game in this plane. Focus on what a heavy plane should take care of, and good things will happen. Since you don't have to even think about dropping bombs and rockets, you just focus on killing those air targets. You can, if you desperately need to flip a zone and it only needs a few of the ground targets killed. Your guns are definitely good at that. Just keep in mind they're short range and don't crash into the freaking ground. Make sure you're coming at the right angle. And so we had good help from the Ju-287 here. But one thing that I definitely want to point out, obviously I was making life a living flip for the Jawa and the F-84B. They had to spend a lot of time focusing on me and not on actually accomplishing anything. And this plane can easily do that, right? But granted, this is a premium account. I've won in those 5 chests. I actually won 10 days worth of premium time. So with a premium account, I just made, again, a very standard game. I made a little over 200,000 credits, 145,000 without premium, which is pretty good, right? Heavy fighters are really good at making credits because you tend to do so much aerial damage, just damage in general. And because you're making all that, doing all that damage, you tend to make more. This I would consider my standard game in this plane. And again, the only reason I'm saying that is because you're going to have games where you're doing 14,000. You're going to have games where you're able to, do 15 aerial target kills. You're going to be able to make 200,000 without a premium account pretty easily on this, especially once you get used to the plane and if you're a solid pilot. Even if you're not, even if you've got a wonky game or you're just being focused down for some reason, or the game's just over too quickly and you weren't able to do anything, you're still going to make an easy 100,000 without a premium account. It's just the way this plane is built. And so that's another reason why, if you're going to spend gold on a premium plane, that's why I recommend this plane. So again, didn't want to give something too over the top and be like, wow, I can get 20 frags in this plane. Yeah, you can. It's not going to be easy, but you can. This is one of my 2 most played planes in the game. I think I've got more than a day's worth of flights in it. It is the most played plane. Most enemy aircraft destroyed in a single battle, 24. Most damage caused to aircraft in a single battle, 27,000 at tier 8, right? Most personal points in a single battle, 41,000. So I've had stellar games in this, and I continue to have stellar games. Obviously I've played a lot, but I started having stellar games in this plane the moment I had it. And most everybody I've talked to, this might not be their favorite tier 8 premium, but nobody's got anything bad to say about this plane. I can say that. I've honestly had nobody ever tell me something bad about this plane. As far as like they hate it, anything like that. So, feel free to subscribe if you want, any updates on World of Warplanes going forward. I'm happy to continue to do that. Have a good day.